My first exposure to the guitar was probably in the womb. I suspect when I was born there was a lot of guitar music going on, and certainly before I was born there was a lot of music in the house. So there was always a grand piano, and there was always a great love for guitar, especially flamenco guitar and guitar that went around, Spanish culture. And my dad was an avid music lover. My mother was a piano player, and so there was classical music in the house the whole time. And I think that's something happened in the genetic permutation of this process that when I popped out, I was one of four kids. I really was being bombarded by guitar playing and piano playing from day one, and I think it was just a very positive experience, and it was always there. Music was just a fixture. A very dear friend of mine, Philippe Berthaud. Philippe was a very enthusiastic guy and was a very funny guy. Was teaching a class and demonstrating for students, and he's playing on this guitar, and many of these kids had very expensive guitars, you could tell, guitars that are in the high thousands, and they're all playing, and I'm watching this guy play on this guitar going, what is that guitar? I mean, it sounds better than everything on the stage. It's substantially louder. It has, this fundamental character that takes it away from the pack. And when I asked him after the show, I said, what are you playing on? And he says, Alhambra. And I was floored. The first wave of these guitars are obviously very brawny, deeply Spanish, and very subtle, sweet. This is a very Spanish, forward, elegant, cutting guitar. It does the business of guitar playing very well. It's not a shy guitar. It has a deep, brawny personality. It's very present at every position, and it has a very Spanish character. This is a guitar that really speaks Spanish music. It oozes, thickness in the treble. It's a very definite personality. I feel that's very important in a guitar. So this is not a guitar that's uneven, that has potholes. It's it's very responsive in the top end. I believe when these guitars mature, 6 months into their playing, they're going to be extremely open. What this guitar has that I really love, that's specific to Alhambra, is it has a very high level of professionalism in the craftsmanship. It's impeccable. When you look at this guitar, the joints are impeccably executed. The purflings in the wood, are absolutely impeccable. There are no mistakes in the execution. The grain in the wood has been filled. absolutely evenly, 100%. The polish and the grain have been set to mirror transparency. You know, the heel, the little elements and the details in the building. You know, this is a guitar that's impeccably made. It doesn't have mistakes in the angles. Everything fits. You know, the points of the junction in the finish. The rosette is beautifully terminated. The bridge, you know, there are no uneven glue joints. The saddle is perfectly set. I don't know what else I can tell. I could praise it all along. I mean, ideally, what I'm seeing here is a guitar that has very high quality wood. You know, the rosewood is an essential element. High quality materials on the onset of building a guitar are really key to the success. You know, this is not a fancy guitar with a lot of, you know, designs, and there's not a lot of wasted energy in the execution of a very basic design. I wanted a warrior-like guitar, a guitar that any kid could pick up and go, wow, I've got this great sound now. I can really push this guitar. It doesn't buzz. You know, it doesn't move. It responds to the elements really well. So the other thing I like about it, these are standard 650 scale, you know. It will fit a number. Most players will play this guitar and feel at home. You know, you can tell it's a guitar that it's ready to be played. Come on, play me. There's not much you do with this guitar out of the box, you know, which is another great point. Once you tune these things up, they're ready to go. The other thing I like about this in addition is that they take a beating. You know, you can put this guitar in a very dry environment. These guitars have been sitting here for 2 weeks. You know, our humidity, if you look at my hygrometer, is, you know, 20% or less. This guitar hasn't moved. You know, I know these things do terrible things to the guitars, and the desert is not a good environment for guitars. And yet this guitar retains its solid sound, it retains its form, the frets are not popping out, and nothing is buzzing. So it's a guitar that's, I think, weathers the elements really well. It's a class act. You know, I'm not looking at a guitar that has, you know, a mismatched heel, or, you know, the machine heads are coming off, or the screws are popping out. Absolutely not. You can inspect every little corner of this guitar right down to the head joint, and it's perfectly executed. So these are very big pluses for a guitar. I challenge anybody to walk into a major retail store in guitar and find a guitar like this with real rosewood, real ebony, you know, that sounds like this. It would be very rare. So it's a very rare guitar. It has a warrior mentality. It wants to be played, and I dig it. It's really fun. The power of music is in that it doesn't ask for permission. It's just there. So if you understand the awesome responsibility of playing music for others, and you absorb that responsibility, I think the moment you start to play and you share music with others, you realize that it has the power to move even the most reluctant soul. It has the power to, awaken, even the most dreadfully asleep among us, I guess. And it has the power to change the quality of your life in an instant. It did for me when I was a little boy. When I first heard it live, I first heard somebody playing on a guitar, I thought, wow, what happened? I've been infected, I have this virus now, I can't, and it's never going to go away. So I think that's where the inspiration for me came from, is that, unique and fundamental desire to share the beauty and the very moving and emotional experience that is music. One of the things I love about this guitar is it's present. It responds right away. It's ready for action. So it's a guitar that, if you need to push it, it's right there for you. You don't have to tread carefully. This is a guitar, when you have a thought, you want to push it through, it responds. It's solid, it's highly reliable. So if you're looking, as a warrior, if you're looking for a weapon, you're looking for a saber, this is it. One very endearing quality to me about these guitars is the fact that they really exemplify an old world sound, an old world sound with 21st century fittings. This is not a guitar that's trying to be anything except what it is. I'm Spanish, I'm big, I say it like it is, I make no excuses and apologies for my sound. This is a very, Spanish sound. And that's a very cool thing. It's a very Spanish sound with a lot of brawn. I think it's a very important thing that a guitar is what it is and that it represents itself honestly. And I think this guitar is generous in both of those things. It has a generous sound and a very sweet, beautiful European old style, old world sound. I think that's very key to the success of any instrument.